All right, good morning and welcome to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are going to be talking about overcoming the holiday blues because apparently the holidays is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, right? It's supposed to be great, happy, and all of that. And so I happen to know from personal experience that it's not always necessarily the case. It really kind of depends on a lot of things. You know, how is your life going? How is your life gone? What kind of memories does it trigger? And then, most importantly, how do you handle it? What do you do to resolve all of those issues? Because we've all got forms of issues. So we are going to be talking about how to overcome those holiday blues. And I am joined by a really special guest today. His name is Dennis Ross, and he is a musician, he's a writer, he is an entrepreneur, he is the minister for Mosaic Bible Study. He's going to tell us all about what he does, and actually one of his most recent topics was about overcoming the holiday blues. So he's got a little bit of insight that he'll be able to pass on to us about how to do that, and so I urge you all to tune in. Whether or not you've got holiday blues or holiday bliss, it does not matter, because regardless, there is somebody in your life who can use this advice, who can really benefit from it. So if that's the case, make sure you tune in, because we want you to be able to help them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the show, Dennis.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes. And so tell us a little bit about who you are, just so we can have some foundation for why we should listen to anything that you have to say.
Wow. That's good stuff.
Credibility,
That's
credibility.
good stuff. Well, I'll start from now and head backwards. And so I'm the founder and facilitator of Mosaic,
Okay.
which is an innovative Bible study here in Atlanta, Georgia. We meet at the Gathering Spot every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And it's innovative because we are reaching out to those in the entertainment and the media, in academia, entrepreneurial. We have just an eclectic participation from a demographic that usually you won't find all in one place.
Right.
The specialty of Mosaic is we study the Word of God not from the perspective of doctrine or dogma, but from the sobering angle of real life. And so we're dealing with some very, very, very crude and raw and authentic issues, and it's really been amazing. We're dealing with divorce and marriage and careers and dysfunction and abuse and all the stuff, the stuff that people actually go through. Right. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful meeting. And so we've been having some sessions lately on relationships. We did a fascinating session on what men really want from women that sort of turned into a reality TV show because it was so wild. But then again, we talk about many of the other traditional issues that you may find in church, but not covered the way we cover them. So that's a wonderful thing. Sort of regressing and going back, 25 years ago, I was the writer and producer for a little group called Boys to Men. And
really?
Yeah.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was with them back in the 90s and spent a lot of time in the music industry with them and producing and writing for pretty much everybody, and left the music industry and changed careers and went into the capital markets, and worked there for a while. And some years after that, launched a literary firm, which I still have now, which is here in Atlanta. And I'm the ghostwriter to multiple high-profile authors. I'm writing their books and they're getting the credit. So it's a very interesting relationship.
I bet it is.
But those experiences, and having grown up deeply in ministry my entire life, those different experiences in the entertainment industry, in the capital markets, and the literary world has created a confluence of just a very unique conclusion that has fed itself into Mosaic, where everything's coming full circle. And so now we're able to speak about the Word of God from having exposure at a very different level than maybe most ministries have had.
Wow. Well, let me just tell you all what my fascination with this man is his language.
Yeah, tell me.
His language. Like, if you just listen to his language and how he puts it, it's very poetic. It's very artistic, the way he puts his words together, and just the whole literary aspect of it. I just absolutely love. And so I may sit there and watch him talk and then forget to respond just because I'm so mesmerized by some of the words that come out of his mouth.
That's kind of you.
I am a word. I love language. language. I love words and all of that. So.
And you're a writer.
I am a writer,
yeah,
so
you understand. Right?
Yes, yes. So that's part of the reason. Ooh, I'm gonna write that one down.
Right.
So, but it's really interesting. I wonder, just from you say that the ghostwriting, you write for people. You're not the face of the writing,
right.
And is that very different from what the music industry? Because it sounds like it's kind of the same idea.
Well, it is a very similar idea. You have, most people don't understand, you have the content generator, and then you have, of course, the face of the content.
Right.
And they can be very different. And so, yes, in the music industry, you have the songwriter and you have the singer.
Right.
And sometimes you have singer-songwriter at the same time. But most of the times you have someone who specializes in generating the content and someone else who specializes in performing it. And the literary world is very much like that. People just don't know that many of the most successful authors in the world do not write books. They promote books written on their behalf.
Yes.
And so authorship and writership are very different things.
He's telling the secrets.
I know. I shouldn't be telling. The publishing house is paging me. Why are you telling
Why are you telling it?
Right.
All right. Well, we now you know who our guest is. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about holiday blues. So stay with us. We'll be back on the Live Exchange.
It's good stuff. I don't know if I'm live. I guess I'm live. Oh, that's my man, Rico.
Oh yeah, you're live.
I don't go live. I never go live. So people are like,
something as simple as walking around the block.
oh yeah.
I don't know how I know her.
I've known Anthony since I was.
Pam, we're going to do 2 commercials, do a quick reset of the show, and then trending topics.
Okay. So one of the things I haven't explained is that the show has different segments that we have to cut into no matter what we're talking about. So the one that's coming up after the break is trending topics. So we're going to talk about what's in the news and media. I have to talk about Kanye meeting with Donald Trump.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard about it or not. I know you say you don't really watch TV.
I saw it. I didn't
but,
really read about it, but
yeah.
I
So
saw it.
so I'm going to go into that and let me see. Let me make sure.
Position is right. So I want you to be able to be seen.
Oh, I don't have the audio on plugged in. I mean, they could hear us, but it
Oh
wasn't.
wow, you mean on your page?
Yeah.
The Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness, coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
All right, welcome back. We are, this is Dr. Pamela, and this is the Live Exchange, and we are talking about overcoming the holiday blues. And so it's, we all have different ways of coming into the holidays, and so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I have a guest here, Dennis Ross. I can just give you all these titles: writer, founder of Mosaic, musician, and so, but we are here to really kind of uncover what are the things that happen during the holidays and how can we make them the most out of them as we go into the new year. But before we get into that, we're going to get into some trending topics.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Okay, so there are two things trending that, the show is Love, Politics, and Intellect. So there's no way of getting out of politics. So, and right now at the top of the news with politics is Donald Trump and a couple of things regarding Donald Trump. So we have the Electoral Party. We've had our great election, the grand election that happened on November 8th, I believe, or the 9th. And, Donald Trump won that election. And, of course, there's a lot of controversy around that. But now we have the Electoral College who's coming in to place their votes, and I believe that's December 19th. And that decision is really the decision that seats the president. So though we had our election, there's still, everybody's on pins and needles about what the Electoral College is going to do. So a lot of the celebrities have stepped in, and they actually have launched a campaign basically asking the electors of the Electoral College to not vote for Donald Trump. This will be the first time in history, if it happens, that the Electoral College went completely against what the election results are. I've read some commentary about that, and some people have said, "Oh, it can happen. Technically it can happen, but it won't happen because it's never happened before." That's not a really good enough reason for me.
Right.
I'm not convinced. If
Right.
it never happened before, it does not convince me that there's a lot of things about this election that have never happened before.
Right.
So
This is the year of the never happened before.
tell me
that
about
year.
it. Can you do a Bible study on 2016?
Yes, we actually can.
Isn't there some symbolism for the numbers? I mean,
There's no more impossible. that is over.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody says, well, 2017, year of completion, it won't be like 2016, but that actually scares me more because if number 7 is a year of completion, that means that we got one more year of this crap before it's done.
Right. I understand.
But that's if we want to play the numbers game. But so that's the first thing, and then the second thing is Donald Trump met with Kanye West. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I was on a cruise. My days are all kind of mixed up right now.
Right.
But it's very interesting. They come out of the meeting and they say we talked about life. So we don't really know if there were any political ramifications of this meeting or if it was just they just shot the breeze, talked about life.
Yeah, we don't know what that means exactly. Whose life did you talk about? But I mean, at the same time, I think there are many lessons that are really overlooked in this particular political year. I mean, Kanye meeting with Trump, I mean, it is what it is. But I think one of the largest lessons is bet on yourself.
Better yourself?
Bet on.
Oh, bet on yourself.
On yourself. We can sort of, if you step back from the political ramifications of everything that has happened, if you step back from the disagreement, the content, the policies, or the lack thereof,
right.
If you just step back and look at what happened and take your emotions out of it, there are some really profound lessons we can learn that has nothing to do with the White House, has nothing to do with, and one of them is, how about bet on yourself? How about take your resources and invest in you? How about you have everything you need, even whether it be education, confidence, or the lack thereof,
right,
to do what needs to be done, because the greatest talent is boldness. The greatest talent is to stand up in front of individuals who are seeking a person for a position, and without the credibility of experience, without the credibility of even elegant intellect, without the credibility of any of that, say, I'm the one. And very few people in the world are able to even think of themselves that way. But the person who does actually convinces everyone they are the one. So it doesn't matter if you're independent. This is sort of, it doesn't matter, agnostic to your political party. There are lessons for us we can glean from this particular election that has nothing to do with the winner. It has to do with the process, the thinking process of being able to have the confidence to say, what's in my hands is enough. I don't have all the experts supporting me. I don't have everyone. What I have are these children that came from my loins, and I'm going to let them be my team. Everywhere I stand, they'll be standing with me, and we're going to take. You can be upset about it. I can be upset about it, but that's not the lesson. So I would hate for us to have to learn see another revolution of this, because we didn't see that this is not a political lesson. This is a personal lesson for your life. Are you betting on you?
And guess what? The lessons don't go away until we get them. They
you
keep
get them.
Coming around and around and around.
And I think from Kanye's standpoint, look, you will do a lot better by partnering with your enemy than you will your friends in this life.
And is that not what you just said a couple of weeks ago? You said
partner with your enemy.
Right. I paid attention.
That is who will bless you. Our enemies are to be our footstools for us to get higher. When we have a table of success, it will be in the presence of our enemies.
Wow.
So if we're looking for friends, well, that's cute, but that actually is not where we're going to find our success. It's going to have the humility enough to partner with our enemies, as if just like the mergers and the large conglomerates do all the time.
Oh, gosh.
They hate each other.
They don't love each other.
They come together and say, let's make a monopoly.
Oh, gosh.
We have to do that personally. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
I hope you all are getting all this. All right, we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Hey, Teddy. Why is investing important?
Most people have goals that they're trying to reach in life that has something to do with growing their assets. That's a problem that we have in our community because we don't take enough risk to actually grow our assets to meet our expectations.
So how does Parish Capital help me?
I see myself as a world-class investor. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm here to bring a transparent, low-fee strategy so people understand what they're getting into when they invest. A dollar today is not worth the same as a dollar tomorrow. You can go to my website at parishcapital.com or call us at 800-618-1940.
Invest your money.
Ignore the noise, stay focused, and prosperity be unto you.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
we'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm here with Dennis Ross, and we're talking holidays. We haven't really gotten quite into the holidays yet, but we're kind of leading into it. And one of the first things I want to ask, is how did you even? A couple of weeks ago, I've been attending the Mosaic Bible study. I didn't go this week because I just came from the Bahamas. So
we saw you weren't there.
So that's my excuse, my doctor's note for the evening. But a couple of weeks ago, I think right before Thanksgiving, the topic was about overcoming the holiday blues, and which is interesting because I really wanted to do a show on this. I've written a blog on it. My book covers it, and I just think it's an important topic because a lot of times we underestimate what people are going through, or we disregard what people may be going through during this time of year. I mean, certainly this is year-round for many people, but there's something about the holidays that make it unique, and I just would love to hear your thoughts on that, why you even delved into the topic in the first place.
Yeah, we did a topic at Mosaic Bible Study called Turkey, Dressing, and Depression, and we did that because this is the particular season when it seems in your life and everything that has gone wrong in your life come together at one time. And so I know from friends and family and just observing others that if there's anything wrong, it's going to peak during the holiday season. If there's anything right, it's going to peak. Something as beautiful as having a new child, or have all of the happiness and joy seems to peak. But then again, something as devastating as broken relationships or marriages or passing of family members, those things really hit hard. So I thought it was very necessary to really recognize both ends and recognize that on the plate of turkey and dressing is also served a scoop of depression during this time of year. And we were able to delve deep into why and to see if we could somehow provide some type of salve, some type of ease the pain by, even if it's just speaking about it or letting individuals know we understand that you're not trying to be a Grinch, but while everybody's walking around talking about happy this and holiday this and and Merry Christmas, you were like, wow, I may need to run to the car and shed some tears so they won't see I'm not trying to mess up the party, but this thing is in my stomach now. I was able to keep it away all year, but now it's coming to fruition. So, it's a topic people deal with, and like I said, at Mosaic, we deal with issues that are not talked about, and so we thought it was important to go into it.
Right. I mean, and when you bring the family together, there's just so many things. There are so many elements that come together with that family coming together.
Love, hate, resentment, bitterness, admiration, grudges, grudges,
love. I mean, there's the positive.
Everything. It's
put it in the pot.
Put it in the pot. It is, So it's very interesting. And now we're going into Christmas, which is the same. It's the same thing. And I think obviously the demographic will change the emotions somewhat because the children it's for them. I mean, it's for everybody, but you see the joy, really the authentic joy, without the weight of those other events in the eyes of children. And so it's wonderful. I think that's the wonderful part of the holidays. You're able to see the best of you in the children. See yourself like, oh, I remember when I was 12 and didn't have a mortgage. I remember that.
Right. Oh, those were the days.
Right, or whatever it is, So
right.
Yeah.
Well, that can also sort of accentuate what you see in your children nowadays. If it's not reflective of what you had, or if it's your children can also serve as reminders, positive or negative, about what happened. And that was the case for me. I often tend to share some of my own experiences on the show, and I know that both the marriage, the divorce, and post-divorce, all of that, what has triggered Christmas, Thanksgiving, holiday memories in my childhood that don't reflect the adulthood.
And they are a beast.
Oh, yeah.
The memories are a beast.
Yes, because my childhood memories were great. Everybody got together. It was, we'd bounce from family to family to family. And then when I got married, I was isolated in a town where we didn't have family. And my husband at the time was not big on holidays. So every year I was just, this is not how I pictured.
Right. This is not the,
it's, so I would call home, and my mom, I remember telling me, you're depressing me.
Right.
And because and just like you had said, you don't want to depress everybody else. So what do you do with all of this that's going on inside? And that's the biggest thing that I really want to make sure that we tackle today, because I know people are dealing with all this stuff that's going on inside. So,
well, I think a large part of it is, we essentially make certain assumptions. And those assumptions are based on what we've been exposed to.
Right.
And we've been exposed to what those around us expose us to. And it's just it's a connecting circle. But the reality is, this is a part of the holiday season. We grow up as children being exposed to the other part. And so when we have a different experience now, we may think, oh, this is not the real thing. But this is the real thing.
Right.
This is real life. And so for me, it is being able to take both. It's the salt and the sugar. It is not just one or the other, as opposed to saying, hey, my holidays are not like they used to be. No, these are the holidays. In fact, when you were a child, this is how the adults around you were feeling when you were a child.
They were dealing with.
And so now you got the child. So you got the child side. This is the other side, and don't let either weigh too heavily on you to destroy your time.
I mean, putting the sweet and the savory together, though, is a really good combination. So
it is.
If we know how to do that well.
Yeah, we do that well.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, at least in food we do.
At least in food. And I say, if we know how to do it well in life, it can really make a big difference.
Right.
But we're going to go into the research, and we're going to go into the research.
In the interest of science.
Okay, so I'll just give you a little science. There is an actual disorder called seasonal affective disorder. Now, what I want you to do is to be able to distinguish this from temporary sadness or a momentary sadness as in comparison to depression. So what seasonal affective disorder is actually talking about, diagnosed depressive states. So what it is by definition, it's a type of depression that's related to changes in seasons. SAD begins and ends at about the same times every year. If you're like most people with SAD, again, it's seasonal affective disorder, your symptoms start in the fall and they continue into the winter months, sapping your energy and making you feel moody. Less often, SAD depression occurs in the spring and early summer, so it's not as common, but it does happen during those times as well. Recommendations, and this is basically from the Mayo Clinic. Don't brush off that yearly feeling as a simple change in the weather, case of the weather blues, or a seasonal funk that that you have to tough out on your own. There's actually steps that you can take to keep your mood and motivation steady. It's really a matter of being proactive, recognizing the cycle that, okay, this usually starts for me around the fall, goes through the winter. I'm going to take the steps that I need to take in advance to make sure that I can do it's like taking vitamins, just to make sure that you have a buffer for your immune system. And just to give you an idea of some of the symptoms for major depression, seasonal affective disorder is a subtype of major depression. And it's feeling depressed most of the day, nearly every day, feeling hopeless or worthless, having low energy, losing interest in activities you once enjoyed, having problems with sleeping, experiencing changes in your weight or appetite, feeling sluggish or agitated, having difficulty concentrating, and having frequent thoughts of death or suicide. Now, it does not mean that you have every last one of these symptoms. It could be that you or somebody that you love have 3 or 4 of these symptoms. It's if they persist and they seem to be cyclical, you see these things happening around the same time of year every year, it may be something to really look into. Fall and winter SAD, again, sometimes called winter depression, may include irritability, tiredness or low energy, problems getting along with other people, hypersensitivity to rejection, heavy lead-in feelings in the arms or legs, oversleeping, appetite changes, weight gain. So the oversleeping is the one that I tend to, that tends to be the, when people tell me that they've slept all day or they're sleeping, they're under the covers, that's the one that I'm like, okay, what are the other symptoms? Right. Because that to me is a sure signal that something isn't right.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking, I don't know. Oversleeping could be a result of overworking, but
I
get it.
Yes, and that's really when it's pervasive, when it's all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
And
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, but it is important to be able to decipher the difference between I'm just really tired and I'm sleeping because I'm hiding. Right. There's a totally different.
Totally different, yeah.
Yes. Totally different. So, and that was one of the things that I easily missed when I was in the midst of my divorce. One of the things was the sleeping. I did not want to come out of my covers. I did not. I mean, and I was hiding. I would come out when it was time to cook, the functional things I needed to do, and then I was right back under there because I didn't want to face the world.
Yeah, I mean, divorce it's a beast because it's the death that keeps you alive.
Oof.
And unfortunately, there's no preparatory class for divorce.
Right.
There's only a class to deal with the consequences after you've had it, which is kind of a class too late. So, so there's a lot of emotional fallout from divorce. The marriage is a spiritual institution, and when it breaks, it doesn't break evenly. It tears in a jagged form.
Yes.
And so you could be fine one day, everything's fine, and you could, walk into a store and hear the McDonald's theme and just fall out. You don't even like McDonald's. Where did that come from? It's like, because you have connections in areas you don't even know you have connections.
Exactly.
So it's usually not the overt, memories maybe you have experienced, with your spouse previously.
Right.
It may come from some very weird areas of things you didn't know you even felt about, but until you hear them, you say, wow, that triggered a connection to here, and now you're in Kroger near the eggs and lettuce crying because someone played the theme to MASH. Right. It's like, what? I don't even watch MASH. Why am I like, what?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that, one of the reasons why I strongly advise we take our time before jumping into something new, because like you said, there are triggers we don't even necessarily know are there. Yeah. And
so therefore you have no defense against them because you don't know they exist.
Yeah.
They're just hidden.
Good stuff. All right, well, we'll be right back, and we're going to look at some of these comments here and make sure we respond. We'll be right back.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a
Better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I have here with me Dennis Ross, and we are talking about the holiday blues and how to get over it and how to have a great holiday and all that. I don't know if are we guaranteeing they can have a great holiday?
Yeah, we don't. We're like surgeons. We don't guarantee anything.
Yeah, we're just giving you all some good advice. But give us a call, 678-613-5857. That's 678-613-5857 if you want to call in, if you have any questions, if you have any comments that you'd like to give, you can do that on Facebook Live, and we're following you there just to see what you have to say. So I guess I can, just kind of delve into it. We talked about this disorder called SAD, which is really, this is, beyond I'm just a little bit down, for the holidays, or the holidays suck, or, commercialization of Christmas. Mm-hmm. This is not just that. This is an actual depressive disorder, and in this case, it does not necessarily mean that there's a one-size-fit-all solution. For some people, according to how to, treat it, sometimes talk therapy works alone. Sometimes that's all somebody needs, just talk through it. Other times it may be severe enough to need medication. In some cases it may be where you have to do some really active treatment options. So there's not one recipe for how to resolve this particular disorder. But what I'm going to be really hoping that we can focus on is not necessarily the point of where it's medically diagnosed, because we're not physicians.
Correct.
but where the point where we can actually take action to reduce the sadness or the depression or whatever it is that we're experiencing.
You're correct. We are not physicians. However, we are people, and so anecdotally, I think from the perspective of experience for individuals who have gone through this, one of the things is taking preparatory caution prior to getting to the holidays,
That's
such
big.
that the holidays do not come upon you and basically put their weight on you without any notice. I mean, it seems
Right.
like it's funny because every year we know Thanksgiving is coming and Christmas is coming, but they seem to come all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, I have found myself and just as I said anecdotally with friends, preparing something, planning something that you're going to do, that you're going to enjoy prior to the holidays, sometimes can take down some of those symptoms. You know,
Right.
back in September,
Absolutely.
if I know that the week before Thanksgiving, I'm leaving to go stay on on Ocean Avenue in Santa Monica at the Oceana, which is my favorite place.
That is like
The
home. That's home,
Yeah, it's
basically,
like-
California.
I'm going to Santa Monica. So that will offset the pain of the holidays, whatever depression is coming on, because I have this. The salt is going to be there, but I've added the sugar to allow myself to know this is going to be an enjoyable time.
Yes.
It's not going to be obviously be total solvency,
Right.
but it is going to give you. I think it's going to give you some relief. I think one of the, as I said, anecdotally, I think one of the pain points of the holidays is we go into them unprepared for the emotions that are going to be accompanied with them. And so planning a trip, planning to visit someone, planning to do a project that you have not been able to do all year, you know, these are things that can help offset some of the depression that we've been speaking about.
Right.
That comes with the holidays.
Yeah, and that is, you said it well when you said that we don't prepare, and it just comes upon us, and we've not done anything about it. And I know several people who now, every year, I'm out of the country, or
I
I'm
see.
doing, you know,
You just
you know, I'm starting a new tradition.
Right.
And you know, and that was great. You know, for those of you who don't know, I just returned from the Bahamas, and it was a great,
Tell us about the
refresher.
Bahamas, Pam.
Oh, it was just wonderful.
What happened in the Bahamas, Pam? We want to know.
Oh, everything. I'll let your imaginations run wild. But no, we had a great time.
Are the Bahamas like Vegas? The same principle?
Oh, you know what happens in the Bahamas? No, actually, no, because I put what we did in the Bahamas all on social media. I didn't keep it in the Bahamas. I guess I should have.
All right, I'm just checking. Want to know. All right.
But that is a perfect segue into the balance challenge.
Your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so the balance challenge for this week, you know, I want you all to start thinking ahead of time, you know, because there are some of us where the holiday season may be, you know, a struggle, but we also have Valentine's Day coming up. We have a lot of Valentine's Day haters out there. And so whatever is coming up, I want you to sort of project into the future what's coming up that I already know is going to be a little bit challenging. Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever it is. And I want you to use this week to plan something that you are going to do during that time. So if it's Valentine's Day, if it's whatever it is, if it's next holiday season, I was going to say college. Your kid's going away to college, you know, whatever it is. If they're leaving in the fall and you know you're about to have an empty nest and you don't know what to do with yourself, I want you to use this next week to plan something for that time. Cruises are really cheap. So if it means I'm going to book a cruise now, I'm going to make payments leading up to that date, whatever it takes, plan your life. Do something that is going to offset whatever kind of misery that you anticipate feeling or have experienced in the past. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think preparatory caution is a wonderful piece of advice, because if you're going into the holidays, and it's Valentine's Day, I totally forgot about Valentine's Day.
I know, that was coming.
I thought we were, after Christmas, we were home free.
No.
Here comes Valentine's Day.
We got that
Lord,
last, stab coming.
That last reminder
right.
of your life.
Right.
If you forgot how bad you were on Christmas, Thanksgiving,
we're gonna remind
here's another one. Everyone's in the grocery store buying flowers.
Right.
None for you.
Nope.
Okay. No, I think, the preparatory piece of advice is wonderful. You know, whether it's getting out of town or whether it is, there's so many things we have on the table, ideas, so many things that we are so busy during the year to do. For example, I purchased a book on carpentry. I'm not a carpenter. I've never taken I don't know anything about carpentry, but I love watching carpenters make things out of wood. And so I bought a book from Home Depot, basically the very elementary version of Carpentry 101, like how to just how to pick up wood, just so basic. And so I was going to make a bookshelf, just a small one.
Okay.
And I got the book, and of course, I'm doing all these things, Mosaic, and writing these books and everything, so I haven't been able to. And so one of the things for me is like, okay, this week off in the holidays, I'm actually going to read this book, get the wood, and start to actually form this little bookshelf. So it's something I'm able to look forward to because I don't know anything about it, and it's going to be a learning process.
Projects. We're going to have to come back. We're going to have to talk about that when we come back. Projects are a great way to have an outlet. We'll be right back.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and have here with me Mr. Dennis Ross, and we are talking about the holidays and how we can be proactive and even creatively find ways to enhance our lives, to love our lives. My whole motto is love your life. How to do that through the holidays for those of us who it's not always a grand, happy time. And so I have a couple of years ago. Time has flown by because I can't believe this was in 2011. And I was, 2010. So I was 1 year out of a divorce. So this was going to be, I think, the second holiday season coming around. And I was anticipating misery. And I was anticipating it. I was like, this is going to be terrible. When people ask me, what are you doing for the holidays? Well, that particular holiday, I would not have had my kids because we alternate holidays. Yeah. So I didn't know how I was going to deal with this. I was going into it for the first time without my kids in a new city, nobody I knew. And I had my parents, but this is not the same. You and your parents for Christmas when you're used to house full of people, kids running around. So I was kind of worried about what I was getting myself into. But being the writer that I am, I like it. I decided to write my woes away and come up with a way to make sure I was going to be okay through the holidays. So I wrote a blog post called Kick Those Holiday Seasons to the Curb. Mm-hmm. Kick Those Holiday Season Woes to the Curb. And I came up with quite a few ideas that I implemented myself about how I'm going to make sure that I get through it. And you remind me of it when you talk about the book that you got, carpentry book, so that you can build a shelf. Because one of those for me was to do something creative, was to create or to build or, and for me, that's a great outlet. So have you started on it yet?
Wow, you would ask me that. So I started by buying the book.
Okay, there's a start.
I got the book. I have not actually done any of the carpentry advice or learned it yet. So this season, next week before Christmas, I'm going to start reading the book, and on Monday, which I believe is the 19th.
Okay.
And actually start seeing what I need to get. What are the supplies I need to start doing it? So
right.
Projects are absolutely wonderful to take away the pain, to stay ahead of it. I remember speaking to a friend of mine who had just come out of some medical situations, and he was at my house, and he was about to take some medicine for pain, and I asked him. I said, "Wow, are you in pain?" He said, "No, I just stay ahead of the pain." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "I don't wait till it gets here. I take the pain medicine when I know it's on its way." And so I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that piece of advice, to do things that put you ahead of the pain versus reacting to it. Be proactive against it.
Because by the time you try to react to it, you're in the bed, you're under the covers, and you're like, I know I need to get up, but I just can't.
Right. Yeah.
So reactive is not always the best way to go about it.
Usually not, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to get into Love Notes.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so today's Love Note comes from a woman who has, it sounds very similar to my situation back in the day. I'm not in that situation anymore, thank goodness. But I've just relocated to another state, and I am lonely. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself for the holidays, and I'm anticipating that this is not going to be a fun one. I don't want to be down, I don't want to be depressed, but I really need your advice. Help. Well, that's what this show is about. Relocating to, I have to jump in really quick with that one. There can be a lot of fun in relocating, because guess what? You've got a lot to explore. There's and so whether and one of the things that I did actually when I relocated to Atlanta is before I got there, the whole preemptive thing is I got on meetup.com. And that was, are you familiar with Meetup?
I've heard of Meetup.
And I joined it months before I moved here. And I got, I joined several groups so that by the time I got here, I already had things to do.
Okay,
meetings to go to.
People to meet.
Okay. And it was great.
Are you still in contact with anyone you met?
Good question. I don't think so. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I didn't build any relationships from it, and I'm not just talking about intimate friendships, none of that.
Right.
But I did learn a lot about the city. I got, actually, I am connected with people from the writers groups that I joined on Facebook.
I've seen those writers groups. They meet at different restaurants and read their chapters.
Read each other's work, and great groups. And so actually I am connected. Those groups, and I was a part of probably about 3 or 4 of them, I am connected to those people still.
Okay.
So.
Good stuff.
So my advice is to, explore this new city that you're in and find these meetup groups, because there are newcomer groups. If you're new to town, they, especially the one in Atlanta, it's called the Black Newcomers Group.
Wow,
and,
Black Newcomers.
Yeah.
Well, we got
Free
black
plug.
everything.
Yes, I know. And
Black
if you don't want to do
movers,
race specific, there are other newcomer groups. But the great thing is that they always have something for the holidays planned, that they realize we're all new to the city. Let's all get together and let's have a big Thanksgiving feast at our house. When we come back, I'm going to let Dennis chime in on this young lady's need for advice. We'll be right back.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
What's a dumb way to listen to an awesome mix of urban hits? Smart Home.
Sensation Station Network.
Too much sauce.
Now we come to the special feature of our program.
Sensation Station Network.
right, welcome to the live exchange. This is hour number 2. Hour one went really fast, and we are talking about the holiday season and whether or not we have the blues, how we're going to get through it, how we're going to make sure that all is well, that we step into 2017 with a smile on our faces. That is the goal, and step through 2017 with a smile on our faces. I am joined by Dennis Ross, and right before the break, we had a letter from a young lady who was relocating and wanted to know how she can deal with the holidays in her new town by herself, not really knowing anybody. You have any thoughts on that?
This is going to sound somewhat counterintuitive, but many times thinking is the problem. Most of the times the lack of thinking is the problem. But during the holiday season, thinking can be the problem. You have to, in my experience, engage in an activity that does not require you to think. The actual tenets upon thinking, we talked about it at Mosaic this week, and we did a message on how to think like God. And interestingly enough, to think is to remember.
Yes.
When you get lost and stop for a second in a place you've been before, you stop to think about where you are so you can remember how to get to where you're going. And so when you do an activity that allows you to sit and think and remember where you came from and what was happening in the better times, that can be the shovel that digs the hole deeper.
Right.
In reality, many times my advice to her would be to do an activity, expose yourself to something new where you do not have the memories that allows you to think, but you're actually forging a new thinking path. Do something new, go somewhere new, go to a play, go to a part of town you've never been to but you've read about, see people you've never seen before, and place your mind on a path it's never been before, so you don't have time to sit there and remember why you relocated, the relationship that broke down, why it broke down. Could I have done anything better? Could I have done anything better? I mean, that will take you into a deep, dark place, a deep, velvety dark place, as we talk about. It's so dark, it's velvet.
Real dark.
Right. So my advice would be to expose, we can only go as far. We only go places we know exist.
Right.
And so you have to expand the capacity of what you know exists so you can go new places. So whether it's physically or mentally or reading a book, whatever it is, take your mind out of what it has already been exposed to so you can have an experience you've never experienced before.
That's great. That is great. Yes. I mean, there's so many opportunities to do that when you are solo. I mean, believe it or not, a lot of people have a hard time being by themselves, but, actually being by yourself gives you a whole lot of freedom that you would not have otherwise.
If you know how to leverage the by yourselfness.
Right, because freedom is a state of mind, and if you haven't figured out how to leverage that, then you're not free in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, exposure is just, it's a big thing. You have to open up, you have to expand your capacity because, we find out many times too late that we have lived in a circle of community, a circle of friends, church, home, work, and it all is in one particular, and you can go 30, 40 years not realizing everything you do is with the same people. You go to school with the same people, you work with the same people, church with the same people, associate with the same people, and you can look up and never have stepped outside of that circle,
right? Which
is not bad until there's toxins in that circle, and you simply start swirling them around. You have to get outside of that and meet new people, and strangers are sort of. Let me say this carefully. It's not a bad thing to meet strangers,
Right.
It's not always a bad thing to meet strangers.
Right.
Sometimes, you can make new friends. Is better said. You can make new friends, and it can be a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that one of the biggest challenges that I've seen among the folks that I know that stay in those circles is fear, is really almost a terror of stepping outside of that.
Yeah.
What happens, and I say all the time, I'm a creature of habit, but not that bad. I mean, I still like to explore and get out, but there are people who are truly creatures of habit and will not step outside of what they know, outside of that town, outside of that close-knit community. How do you suggest that people step out of that fear? What does it take to, because when you're deep in it, you're deep in it. So it's baby steps for some people. What is a baby step that somebody could take to get out of that?
You know, it's, as you said, it's very difficult to do something you've never done because the thing you've always done has leverage, it has momentum, it has inertia. And so it's sort of even the very thought of taking a trip to somewhere you've never gone, the thought of being domestically bound and saying, you know what, this year I'm going to travel to England. You know, all of your memories, all of your thinking says, we don't do that. we go. You can go to Alabama, or you can go, you know, maybe New York, but we don't travel outside the country. Do you know the disruption, the geopolitical you know, everything starts to weigh upon you to discourage you from doing something you've never done before. But the crazy thing is, all of your success, all of your joy, many times a big portion of your happiness for this area of your life is not going to be, you are where you are because you've done what you have done with the people you've done it with. And so you say, what is a baby step? You have to, you know, I wouldn't even call it a baby step. It's probably or the most aggressive baby step possible. You have to just do it. You know, there is no mezzanine place between doing it and not doing it, where you can settle and be cautious. You have to just make the step, which is going to be a fearful step. And here's a thinking step. It's okay to be afraid. Just do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be afraid to get on the plane and fly to, you know, somewhere you've never gone before. It's okay to be afraid. In fact, stay afraid. Just make sure you do it afraid.
Ah, that's good. That's good. Hashtag do it afraid. We'll be right back.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm place on a cold day.
I want to be a football stadium.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier. There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. Trending topics. You know, it's not, I'm being a little contradictory because it's not really trending right now. But I do have to acknowledge that today is the anniversary of the unfortunate passing of one of the co-owners of Mrs. Jessie's Natural Hairline. T.T. Branch passed away at the age of 45, believe it or not, 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? And it was, again, it's smack dab in the middle of holiday season. And you know, and of course, we don't know the circumstances surrounding what was alleged to be a suicide. But there is also, you know, there's a myth out there that, and I say myth because I've been doing some reading on suicide in the holiday season, and apparently it's a myth that suicides go up during the holiday season, but that it really just remains the same throughout the year, but that we tend to highlight it more during the holidays, that maybe it stings more during the holidays. But you know, really tragic. It kind of got conversations going when T.T. Branch passed away about suicide in the Black community, and this, you know, just that it's something that we don't often talk about. We like to dismiss it as a white problem, and you know, and to my white brothers and sisters that are out there, you know, to your credit, it's talked about, you know, within the white community, but it is not talked about among us at all, and it's something that we really need to talk about more. But this unfortunate situation did get us talking about it more. The company is still, of course, in operation, but it was just something that really caught us all off guard because we think they're doing well, they're successful, beautiful, you know. What could be wrong? Everything could be fine. And we often tell ourselves or each other, you know, baby, it'll be fine. Everybody's going to be okay. And so that's just a reminder for us to really check in. I mean, you know, we can't necessarily always save everybody, but if you notice that somebody's down, or if you notice that somebody needs an extra hand, an extra hug, be willing to reach out. We have a question on Facebook, but before I get to that, it just popped in my head spontaneously. One of the things that I did write about in my book, and the reason why I'm smiling, like I've got a minister sitting in front of me, so I could kind of test this whole theory on you.
Test it. Let's go.
In one of my chapters in my upcoming book, the chapter is called "Save Someone Else," and that is the whole idea of when you're down or when you're struggling, sometimes it helps to save someone else. It brings you up, and you know, when you help somebody else, you're really helping yourself as well. There is a scripture, not a scripture, there is a saying that people always like to say when somebody is down or struggling. They'll say, the Lord won't put more on you than you can bear. And I've always struggled with that because, first of all, it's not a scripture that I have found. I've looked it up. I've searched for it. What God doesn't put on you more than you can bear is temptation.
Right.
So that's the temptation.
Such that he will not offer a way of escape.
Right.
Which is totally separate from
burdens.
A paraphrased version of that. But go ahead.
Right. Yeah. But I'm glad you finished that, because that is what we're pulling that from, or the only thing that I can find closest to God will not put on more on us than we can bear, is that passage about temptation. Mm-hmm. So when somebody is going through something and we say, baby, God won't put more on us than we can bear, to me, it's a way of dismissing what they're going through, and it's saying, you know what, whatever it is, you got it, and it removes us from responsibility of what the Bible actually says, which is to bear each other's burdens. Right. And so when we bear each other's burdens, it actually means we have to do something, right, instead of just say, you know, God won't put on more, you know. So I have to bounce it off of you because you're sitting here. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and I think that we often make it too easy to just dismiss somebody's pain and move on with our lives without having to deal with it.
Right. Well, it is a deception from the pit of hell that God will not put more on you. Let's talk about Jesus. Let's just go right to what the truth is. The facts are these. He experienced everything. He was tempted by everything. He touched everything that touches us, so that he would have an idea on the best way to save his children. Mm-hmm. Jesus dealt with depression. In the Garden of Gethsemane, the Bible talks about him going away, leaving his disciples to go away and pray for a while. And in that prayer, and I'm paraphrasing, he asked, Father, if it be thy will, let this cup pass from me. In other words, you have put on me more than I can bear. This is the Christ. Not talking about Billy, John, Dennis, Pam, right, some psychiatrists. We're talking about Jesus the Christ, the perfect one, the one who never sinned, the one who holds all power and authority in his hands. And he was dealing with depression on his knees, sweating blood.
Wow.
asking, saying, I love mankind. I remember when we made them. I remember our thoughts for our children and how they were going to grow and be this wonderful creature in the earth. But you know what? This hasn't turned out the way I wanted to turn out. I understand the sin thing, and I understand I'm the lamb sent to the slaughter. I understand that I am the one to make the sacrifice to forgive mankind of their sins. But this is too much. So what I need you to do, if you can do this at all, take this cup from me, because what Jesus was really saying, I want to go home. I want to go back to the safe place. I want to go back and experience my heavenly family. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Jesus asked for the trial to stop. But then he said, but not my will, but thy will be done. So when you talk about God not putting more on us than we can bear, it is incorrect. He will put more on us than we can bear, but here's the thing. Not more than he can bear for us. And so, yes, he will put something on you that will absolutely, potentially crush you. But here's the thing. With God, all things are possible. And Jesus gave us the example. You take it off of yourself and you say, God, this is too much. Either you handle it or I'm not going to be here. God hears that prayer. He heard Jesus' prayer, and he gave him the strength to continue all the way to the cross.
Wow. Oh, that was good. Okay, we have to go to break, but after the break, we are definitely going to answer the question that came in on Facebook, and if you have any questions, definitely post them. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up,